And bright weather too. I'll have more in half an hour. Back to you both.
See you then, Matt. Thank you.
6 months ago today, 23-year-old Jack O'Sullivan went missing after leaving a house party in Bristol. Since then, his parents, Catherine and Alan, have desperately been searching for answers.
Despite an extensive investigation, which has included searches by air, land and water, as well as reviewing hundreds of hours of CCTV footage, police still don't know what happened to Jack. We'll speak to his mum in a moment. But first, Sophie Long has this report.
This is Jack O'Sullivan leaving home on the evening of Friday the 1st of March. He's on his way to a house party in Bristol. We know Jack left that party just before 2 a.m, texted his mum and was trying to find a taxi. But 6 months later, he still hasn't made it home. This is the last confirmed sighting of Jack. He walked past a camera and onto this small grassy area. It's a piece of land his parents now know well. They believe they've spotted him on footage 10 minutes later and think he was heading towards Clifton and Hotwells.
Probably 15 or 20 minutes further on in the timeline, it moves him to a different place with a different possible area of Bristol that he's moving into at a later time.
It's now 6 months since Jack was last seen and life for his family so painfully stalled. During that time, he should have celebrated his 23rd birthday. His bedroom remains just as he left it. The investigation has also seen little movement.
This is unusual. Within even a Somerset Constabulary, last year we dealt with around 5,500 missing people reports. The majority of missing people are successfully found. That's why this case is so unusual that Jack has not been found. And 6 months on, while our search continues, it's important that the public know that and that they work with us. And if there is any information left out there, that they bring it to us to help us find Jack.
Where is Jack? What happened to him? The questions his family long to learn the answers to as they continue to count the days and desperately cling to hope. Sophie Long, BBC News.
Well, we're joined now by Jack's mum, Catherine, and by Paul Joseph, who's from the charity Missing People. Good morning to both of you. Catherine, 6 months exactly, isn't it? And we've heard about your campaign for information several times on the programme during that time. How are you doing as you reach this terrible milestone?
Yeah, it's an extraordinary situation. I mean, most of the time it doesn't feel like this is real. Even 6 months on, it hasn't quite sunk in because, you know, our lives, well, my life especially is completely stopped. You know, I'm stuck on the 2nd of March and I'm finding it very difficult to move forward. But somehow we do as a family, we know we get ourselves up, showered, dressed and try and take on the day. But I'm finding that I'm becoming, or having to become a detective or an investigator. And really, I just want to be Jack's mum. I don't want to do some of the things that we're having to do.
And here we are on BBC One right now with lots and lots of people watching. What is the message that you would like to give to people today? Is there anything that might be able to help you and your situation?
Well, we still continue to appeal for sightings or any of Jack's possessions to be found because he literally has disappeared. You know, he's vanished. And we struggle with that because how could that be possible? You know, we see vehicles going past him, we see ambulances, lorries, all sorts of activity. And also, I've seen a lot of the footage myself, and I know there are other people in the area during that time. So, you know, we continue to ask if anybody has got even something that maybe they don't feel was relevant. You know, a tiny item like that might make all the difference to us.
I live in Bristol, and I was driving through Bristol last night and I saw a great big electronic billboard with a picture of Jack and appealing for information. But I guess this is your opportunity to say to people right across the UK that they could have information too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, initially we were focusing solely on the area that he was last seen, but since, you know, you think anything could be possible. He could have travelled further afield, outside of Bristol, and you know, anywhere in the country. So I think my appeal really is to anybody, not just to the Bristol area.
Was there anything about his behaviour or his activity in the days or weeks beforehand that is a nagging doubt with you that might explain something?
No, not at all. If anything, I would have described Jack as being just coming into the prime of his life. You know, he was a really hard, or is a really hard worker, and really wanted to achieve. And he just got some summer vacation opportunities with some law firms, and yeah, everything was really good. And also that evening, he messaged me, you know, at 10 to 2 to tell me where he was and what time he thought he might come home, and said, you know, don't wait up. I've got my keys and I'm going to get a taxi. So there's nothing there that was out of the ordinary at all.
And you mentioned, didn't you, that you get up, you shower, you get dressed, and you try to have a version of a life, but in a sense, your life was paused on that day 6 months ago. What does your day look like now?
Well, we do an awful lot of correspondence. We've got almost a team around us now, which sounds extraordinary, but we've got some great support from a Facebook group that was put together. There's almost 60,000 people, and they send in messages, ideas, you know, they put thoughts in our head and we try and follow those through. We've also got a missing persons expert that's helping us. His name's Charlie Hedges, and the support there is just wonderful. And missing people have supported us as well. So we do feel an awful lot of support, but sometimes from just complete strangers. But nevertheless, it means so much.
Paul, from Missing People, you're a charity. You work sadly with other families as well. What can a family do? I mean, Catherine, talking about, you know, going through CCTV, everything, but, you know, how do you keep it together in these moments?
I mean, Catherine describes the situation so well, and they're doing everything that they can. And we would always just say for people to look out for themselves and each other, because it can be very tiring, very exhausting. Normal life is still there. There's still work, there's still bills, there's still other things. So anything you can do to kind of get support, keep your energy up. And of course, we would hope the police are getting the right, giving the right updates, and the family know what's going on. And that can be difficult.
What support do you get from the police at that point? What in a missing person case? How much support would you expect from the police?
Families should expect regular updates. They should have someone that they can contact directly, and really just feel assured that things are being looked at. And obviously, as time goes on, that can be when people worry that maybe the foot's coming off the pedal a bit. So that's why it's really important to keep everyone looking for someone, and that's why it's remarkable what Catherine and her family are doing, and kind of keeping the search alive so we can find Jack.
And keeping the pressure on the authorities. I know that's something that you've been really trying to do.
Yeah, it's really, really hard. At times it feels quite obstructive. That, you know, we've got some information that at the moment we're desperately trying to get to the bottom of with Jack's phone and the data that was used that night.
However, his phone was never found, was it?
His phone's never been found. We've got timelines of use of it. We've got breakdowns of data. However, we can't progress any further because the police hold that information and they won't release it. What we've asked is if we can just have it to do ourselves. Not that we think that we're better than anyone else. It's just, you know, we had huge problems with CCTV right at the start. So for us, we want to have the reassurance that we've done everything, and you know, we'll pay to do these things, but as I say, the police are holding on to this at the moment, and we can't break through as to why that's the case.
I suppose there could be all sorts of rules and laws about privacy and that safeguarding, I don't know. But
yeah, well, and the same applies to, so Jack is carrying an air tag, which we thought would be brilliant, you know.
But just to explain, that's the little sort of tracker type things that you might put on your bag.
It's a location finder, and it was the first thing that came into my head that the day we were reporting him missing. However, it's drawn an absolute blank. We've had 3 or 4 different narratives from the police of why they think that's the case. And at the moment, it appears we've gone back to the fact that privacy laws within Apple won't allow us to have this information disclosed. Whether that is the case, we're not certain. We have conflicting stories. You would think in a missing persons case, you know, that would supersede anything and we could break through that. But again, we battle to find out, really.
And that's the frustration at a time when you are trying to do everything. That's a stumbling block. You can't really do anything about that if the police say no.
You know, we just really, really want to be able to draw lines under some of the information, so then we can perhaps move a little further forward. But as we are, we're just stuck.
Well, look, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us this morning. Hopefully somebody out there has got some tiny information, even if you would say they don't know whether it matters or not. Just offer it up. Avon and Somerset Police, isn't it?
Yes, and also there is a website set up for Jack for information, which is very descriptive, and it tells you everything about that night and what he was wearing and things like that. If any information could go to that, that would be really helpful.
The website is? I'm putting you on the spot. You can't remember. I'm sure people will find it. They look for Jack O'Sullivan online.
It's Finding Jack. Finding Jack is like a hashtag. It's Jack O'Sullivan 23.
OK.
So I think that's the start of it.
Thank you so much, both of you, for coming in.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.